You are about to enter a space of ultimate football knowledge. From four guys with little to no actual football experience, except for armchair quarterbacking. Brace yourself for passion and knowledge like you have never seen. Welcome to the Football is King podcast. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Ooh, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. There we go. All right. Welcome into another episode of the Football is King podcast. We are here to talk college football week number 4. Week number 4. Man, the football season's going by too fast already. I can already just feel that we're approaching that January, February time period where we're just gonna have no football in our lives. Again, and it's making me sad.
Well, this year we have football till beginning of February.
That for sure. But it's just, we're gonna lose. We're getting like the weather's starting to change here in a couple weeks, which that's the best part of the year. We're almost at to the true fall weather, where it's not brutal to go to a game.
I'm excited for Texas's third summer of the year. Got a little cold front right now. It's only 85 degrees.
Yeah. But I mean, we're starting to see in college football, like, hey, here are the teams that are good, here are the teams that are not good. So we already know here are the teams that actually stand a chance at winning something.
There's a lot of not good football being played, though.
That's true. And the same thing with professional football. We're starting to see who's good, who's not good, who's, contenders, who's pretender kind of thing. And it's just now we just got to wait and watch the season actually unfold and enjoy the process. But you know what? I will say we are officially getting into the good part of college football where we're going to have real games happening each week. We actually had real football games happen this weekend. Not everyone just played a cupcake team. This upcoming weekend is getting even better. We got Georgia-Bama this weekend. We'll talk about that. I don't actually remember if there were any other good games this week, but because the only one that matters is Georgia-Bama. Oh, how could I forget Texas versus Mississippi State?
Yeah, I was about to say, there is another big one.
Penn State, Illinois will be a good game, I think.
That will be a good game.
I
Illinois
hope.
might be.
Illinois, I hope, makes it close or wins, whatever.
They may be good Big Ten competition right there.
Yeah. But yeah, we're fall is moving a little too quickly for me. We're already basically in October. We're almost in spooky season, which means that it's almost time for Texas A&M to lose to Mississippi State.
That it won't happen.
We say that, but it's just,
dude. If we lose to Mississippi State, I'm not gonna say I'll do something crazy because people are holding that accountable.
People will hold, yeah.
But dude, there's no way. Toledo blew them out.
Yeah. Hey, let's go through all of since you brought it up. For those less internet inclined to us gentlemen, the college football internet world has been bonkers the past few weeks. It started with our guy from Florida State, who
Why
was
do people keep doing this?
Yeah, who said that if Florida State loses, he would what was it, eat dog poop?
He would eat a cup full of dog poop.
Yeah, and obviously he didn't do it, which is why Florida State is now cursed.
He has scrubbed himself from the internet, too.
It is possible that he was such a fan that he did it this weekend, and that's why Florida State was able to win. He just didn't want to post it on the internet, but probably not. Then
Jack Mack at Barstool would have got down to the bottom of that if he had done it.
That's true. Then this week, I don't remember who the teams were. No, it was BYU and K-State. Was it K-State the team they were playing?
Yes.
But this guy
K-State said some crazy shit.
K-State said that he was going to put a burrito where the sun don't shine. Specifically the what is it,
Say,
five layer burrito from Taco Bell.
K-State fan said he would take a 5-layer burrito and shove it up his ass if they lost to BYU.
And
Which they
what's best about it is that the BYU Twitter account tweeted when the final score, tweeted Liv Moss. So like the official school Twitter accounts know about these things and are
oh
playing
yeah,
onto them. That's why the internet is undefeated. It's an amazing place. It's awful, but it is a fun place to be a part of.
we live in an
Um,
amazing.
so that was the thing. And then there was another. Oh, the other one was from Texas this past weekend. If you haven't seen this, it's hilarious. It's so sad. It's very sad. But like a 6-year-old girl, her mom's just not watching her, and the 6-year-old girl is just chugging the mom's Michelob Ultra, and the like everyone's just filming instead of stopping this girl from drinking Michelob Ultra, which is kind of making me think it's fake.
No, people suck.
But also people suck. And I liked all the comments were like, well, Michelob Ultra's just water anyway. And I was like, this is why the internet is a great place. But also that mom should probably expect a visit from Child Protective Services.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
Well, the part that's not a good look is that the 6-year-old is not affected by it at all, which tells me this is not the first
Not,
time that this child has
not
had
her first
Michelob
go.
Ultra.
Not her first go around.
Yeah, she was taking it like she's a senior in college and she's just chugging it.
Moms, be a better example.
So, Daryl K. Royal, they're struggling over there. Not their football team. Their football team is doing great, but
Football seems really good.
the stadium, the fans in the stadium are struggling. Who knows? Maybe they were a fan of the opposing team and they were just real sad that their team was getting stomped because that's what Texas does. And they get rewarded by getting their welcome to the SEC as playing Mississippi State.
Yeah.
While poor Oklahoma had to play Tennessee.
What a game.
It was a game. We'll talk about that one in a second. But the first game I wanted to talk about is our headliner game for the week. And I want to talk about those USC Trojans and the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lincoln Riley, who I don't understand how Lincoln Riley is a big name in college football because everywhere he goes, he does the exact same problem every time.
This time he actually has a defense a little bit.
I mean,
Does
But it's hard to tell. Michigan's
does he?
so bad.
Michigan scored
Does he?
17. Does he really have a defense?
Here's what I'll say. Compared to every other Lincoln Riley team, if they had this defense last year, they might have won something.
They might have won something, but
They
I
just
mean,
need a serviceable defense.
they
probably.
lost to Michigan, and Michigan had 32 passing yards.
That's insane to me. That is insane.
that's crazy.
I understand that 7 of those points did come from a pick six, so like you can't blame the defense for that. Or yeah, but like I don't know. Lincoln Riley, he's a
That
good
pick six is bad.
he's a good quarterback coach, but he's a terrible head coach, and he's always getting these massive contracts from schools. He always has the exact same problem.
They went into a 2-minute drill and did nothing but run the ball.
Yeah, it was
That was incredible.
it was not good.
Not good at all for USC. They did. Isn't Alex Grinch got fired, right? So he's tough.
Yeah. Yeah, last year.
That was his problem. I felt like he was too loyal to Alex Grinch, who had like proven to be a bad defensive coordinator for many years.
Yeah, they do have a new guy.
I think their defense is better.
Right.
I think if USC had this defense last year, probably the year before, honestly, probably the year or a Lincoln Riley team had defense ever, they probably won a national title.
Yeah, but he's not a good coach.
I agree. I think
he's good at recruiting a quarterback, but honestly, is he even good at that anymore?
Yeah, this guy, Miller Moss, like, he's all right.
And then his last couple quarterbacks at Oklahoma weren't awesome.
Miller Moss is a traditional piece. to the guy he wants.
Yeah.
What was that?
Miller Moss sat behind Caleb and he waited his turn, and I think he's the transitional piece. I don't think he's Lincoln Riley's like next up pick. He's just the guy they have at the moment.
Well, I feel like he went into that bowl game last year, and I think he threw for like 5 touchdowns, so everyone freaked out.
I think he is good. I think that
Yeah.
USC just is going to really struggle with
He's
the
good.
physicality of the Big Ten.
That was a perfect introduction to the Big Ten.
Yeah, Michigan's a bad football team, which
They just
thank you,
pretty bad.
USC. Now Michigan will be ranked for the entire school year, even though they suck. And
Just
so I think Miller Moss definitely struggled in this game because his offensive line just got obliterated on every play. And yeah, I definitely, if I'm USC and I'm making that transition into the Big Ten, I don't want one of the softest coaches out there. Like,
Oh, I totally agree with that. I think they're gonna. I think them UCLA is just terrible.
well, yeah,
I think
that
Oregon's gonna get a little bit of it too, where you're gonna get into this game where it's like a freaking dogfight, like the USC Michigan game was,
yeah.
and you're not gonna be able to respond because you're so used to like this finesse style of football. It's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
It's like when well, I guess it was more like Ohio State, Michigan. Like they'd always say, like Michigan was designed to like beat Ohio State. Like you have to play a certain level or a certain style of football to win some of these games.
For sure. I mean,
I don't
there's a
think
reason why Iowa always was making it to the Big Ten championship game, even though
Yeah,
they're
but-
terrible.
Ugly football.
That's Big Ten football.
Yeah.
It's pretty ugly.
Put their hands in the dirt and hit somebody.
Yeah, that's my big takeaway. It's just I didn't really think the games this weekend were overly impressive, most of them. There's
No, most of them were pretty boring.
most of them are pretty boring. We're getting into this weekend, hopefully is gonna be good. But that's my big takeaway. Just every year, my big takeaway is just like, how does Lincoln Riley just keep doing what he's doing? It's the same thing with coaches in the NFL. It's that, there's always the teams like the Chicago Bears who think that you can just win by building your program with just like the big names, your skill players, or like Colorado, like, hey, all I need is a quarterback and good wide receivers, but I'm not going to worry about my O-line. And then it's like,
They should not have won that game this week.
no,
I'm
That
so
was
mad about it.
Crazy moment.
that was some crazy. Yeah, let's
crazy-
talk.
The play before the Hail Mary, it was also a Hail Mary. And that one looked like it should have been caught for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this. The students at Colorado, since it was a home game, that's a top tier college football experience right there. That game was nuts.
Oh, yeah.
It was crazy. It was a great, like, if that would have happened at Baylor, that would have been brutal. So I am happy that it did happen at Colorado. I am not thrilled that it happened because they didn't deserve to win that game. But
No way. I couldn't, that final play, I could not tell if he caught it. And I was like, there's no way he caught that. And I saw him jump up, and I was like, that had to have hit the ground. Like, I know he's excited and everything that had to hit the ground.
I didn't think he caught it until they showed that first replay, and I was like, oh, shit.
Great catch. And Shedeur Sanders' throw is insane. It's like the one that Aaron Rodgers did back in the day. He's going the wrong direction that you want to go as a right-handed quarterback. You're off your back foot, and it's just a lucky heave. And it got there. Defensive back. Let's get our eyes focused on the football, my friend.
Right.
Also,
I think
how do we not have a safety on both sides? There should be someone that's already standing in the end zone facing the ball, ready to go. You should have a safety on the left side, the right side, and in the center, whose job is just to look at the ball.
Did you hear Travis Hunter? He was on the opposite side by himself, and apparently they had 3 dudes over there on him. And he literally told Dion or whoever, like, throw me on the opposite side and let him play on me, because then they were on one. The rest of the field was 1-on-1.
Yeah, I'm fine with the double team. I really liked the Washington Commanders against Jamar Chase in the red zone. I really liked their strategy of just like we're gonna be very clear and upfront that he's double teamed.
Just make sure someone else beats you.
Almost the Calvin Johnson treatment. Not quite. The Calvin Johnson treatment back in the day was awesome. But I would definitely have I would have had Hunter double teamed.
For sure.
And
But
then have
back there, you could double team every single one of them.
I was gonna say I would have 3 safeties lined up, and then I would have Travis Hunter double teamed all the way down the field, and then everyone else have a corner.
Well, you could drop probably 7 dudes, and they can only send out 4
I
of
mean,
them.
you only need to bring 2 guys on the pass rush, 3 guys on the pass rush. I mean,
3 just for fun. I mean, but 3 on.
You could do 3 guys on the pass rush, 3 safeties, and then you have 5 DBs lined up with your wide receivers and just go for it. But
really, the kiss of death. Dave
Someone did it this week in the NFL. They only sent 1 guy on the pass rush.
Probably what you should do.
there was the
Everyone
one.
else was stacked.
There was the one with Lamar and the Ravens, not against the Cowboys, but the week before that. I don't remember who they lost to in week
Bears
2.
had one this week too.
They lost to the Raiders the week before.
It was the Raiders game, but the Raiders actually terrified me. If y'all remember way back in the day when the Chiefs played the Cowboys in Dallas, when it was Tyreek Hill's like first season, and it was at the end of the first half, instead of throwing a Hail Mary, they threw it because they had like everybody back on the goal line. The Cowboys did. The Chiefs threw the ball short to Tyreek Hill and got a crew of blockers in front of him, and then he was so fast it was like a punt return, and he scored. The Ravens almost did the same thing where like Max Crosby and co rushed by him, and then the Ravens just all took off and started blocking for Lamar. And I was like, this could be dangerous. And they did stop him, but I was like, that's a scenario that's very dangerous because Lamar is shifty enough that if he gets that 1 or 2 blocks where it's basically like a punt return, he could actually that'd be better for that. I think that honestly the Ravens have a better chance of doing that than doing an onside kick, or not an onside kick, Hail Mary.
Hail Mary.
Definitely a better chance than doing an onside kick.
That's why
onside kicks are impossible.
Evan, you got to have somebody in the intermediate space to like prevent craziness.
Yeah.
They'll drop way more than they can send out.
For sure. But yeah, it was a crazy game. Poor Baylor.
Oh, also, kiss of death, Dave Aranda. You should have taken this to your grave. He said that last play they called it victory cigar.
No, yeah, can't do that.
That should have taken to your grave.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Can't
also,
say that.
How many times do we got to talk about you don't reach at the goal line?
Yes.
I didn't even see it happen again.
That's the fumble.
To win the game.
Oh yeah.
He's reaching for the goal line. You don't reach.
Never.
Especially if it's 4th down, you got to reach. But on 1st and goal, you can't reach there.
Take the hit, go down.
He played hero ball.
Ball in the chest.
Well, he tried to play hero ball, and he lost.
Although that hit by Hunter at the goal line, textbook, fight the ball, put the helmet right on the ball.
I mean, yeah, it's a good hit, but if he's not reaching, he's probably fine.
That kid is so freakishly talented. It's insane.
Good. He's good.
He is good. We'll see.
I think I would like Sanders a lot more if he didn't play for his dad. I think if he played for else, I'd be like,
Sanders is a punk, and I can't stand it. He's just a bad dude. He's a bad dude.
No, I don't think he would be that way if it wasn't for his dad being a punk.
No, I think even if his upbringing, but I don't think it's the fact that his dad is the coach. I think it's just that his dad is his dad.
Yeah, I think if he played for Saban, he wouldn't act the way he acts.
Saban wouldn't let him.
Yeah, that's very different.
I think the coach matters, and the fact is his dad's a coach, and I don't care what he says.
Okay, but let's
Travis Hunter way differently than any other player.
You think if he's playing at Ohio State for Ryan Day, the just absolute pushover that Ryan Day is, just like Marvin Harrison Jr., right? Both sons of a legend. I mean, Marvin Harrison Jr. is he was a bit of a diva,
He was a diva. I
but
think
like he was a
some of
respectful
the
diva. He
shenanigans.
was.
I think some of the shenanigans wouldn't happen.
I agree with that, but I think also if he was at a big program like Ohio State and everyone was just worshiping the ground that he walked on even more than they are at Colorado, that Sanders ego might be genetic.
I also think Dion likes it because it's kind of like he sees it as like him building his brand.
Yeah. That's the other thing.
Oh
He
yeah,
is trying to build his brand.
Apart from
Um, did y'all
yeah, but the scouts don't like it. They've already came out and said, people have already came out and said, scouts are looking at it saying, hey, I'm not sure about that.
he doesn't
The
care. He's
way
already
he
making his
acts,
money off of his
that's what I
brand
think too.
now.
I think he's like I think we're gonna see this more and more too. Like I don't know that he really cares to be in the NFL that bad. He
Or
wants because it elevates himself, like his brand or whatever. He won't make it to his second contract.
yeah, I was gonna say they're just there to promote their brand to keep getting money off the internet than they are.
After they retire, they can all go on Twitch and stream.
All he has to do is get drafted, play for
Yeah.
a few years, then he can have his Shador podcast
Yep.
and like his whole brand thing, and he'll be fine.
he's on that Bronny contract. Get drafted and just make money
Okay.
elsewhere.
No, Bronny was clearly like a nepo situation.
Yeah.
At least Shador has shown us something. Bronny averaged 3 points a game at USC.
No, for sure. For sure. But if you remember, Shador was going to go play at Florida Atlantic University until his dad took a head coaching job out of college.
Hey, don't disrespect FAU. That's a
Yeah,
tough team.
Tom Herman would be ticked.
That's a tough out right there.
I'm just saying, Saban wasn't calling. Ryan Day wasn't calling. There were a whole lot of schools out there not calling.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's at Colorado. It's not like he's at a good program now either.
Yeah. Before his dad got a head coaching job, he was just another dude.
I enjoyed this weekend. The other part of college football Twitter that was going on was like how did they phrase it? Like who was more like financially hyped or like building their brand better? Johnny Manziel or Shador Sanders?
Not even close.
And I'm like, I don't think y'all remember Johnny effing football. Like
he was on the cover of Time magazine.
he's on the cover of Time magazine. He
Dude was everywhere.
built a stadium.
He was everywhere.
Everywhere.
He is the
Johnny-
reason why NIL exists.
Yeah, I mean, he was
My man was sitting courtside at the NBA Finals with superstars and rappers.
he was hanging out with Drake all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At all these Hollywood
that too,
parties the
probably.
week of a game.
It's not even in my mind. Johnny
It's all
in the same ballpark.
it's the thing with all the recency biases thing, which I think is a huge problem, especially in the sports community. Another thing I saw it today actually was it was like one of those like don't speak until you hear somebody better or whatever. And it was talking about Heisman Trophy winning seasons. And they were trying to pick people who had a better Heisman Trophy season than Joe Burrow.
which is nobody.
And they picked nobody. I would disagree.
Who would you take?
I would disagree.
I mean, Joe Burrow's stats were insane because his team is insane.
Yeah, he had unbelievable talent.
I would take Cam Newton for sure.
Cam's up there. It's either him or Cam Newton, probably. The difference with Cam is Cam kind of had to do everything.
I think the same with Lamar. I think Lamar's.
Yeah,
I think his Heisman Trophy season is also just nuts.
He just didn't win he didn't win the national title.
Yeah, but so it's not about the success of the team. It's talking about their Heisman Trophy, right?
I don't know. Cam was pretty ridiculous.
Cam was ridiculous. They also mentioned people. They mentioned Manziel. I would say that Manziel's hype for his Heisman was way better, but probably the season itself, Joe Burrow I mean, Joe Burrow is a much better quarterback than Johnny Manziel, but Johnny Manziel was
I
a
mean,
much more exciting player to watch than Joe Burrow ever will be.
is the question within a certain time frame?
It was just
There's
their Heisman Trophy winning season.
because there's some old heads out there that just
Oh, for sure. Reggie Bush was mentioned, and I was like, dude, Reggie was insane.
yeah, Ricky Williams won a Heisman and he was insane at Texas.
Yeah. They didn't
Yeah.
they didn't they didn't mention like every one ever because like I would throw Barry Sanders in the mix.
I was about to say Barry Sanders. You got Herschel Walker. You got like Bo Jackson.
But
Like you have.
football was so different back then. I feel like if you compare like, it's like you can't really even compare like that
Yeah.
era football versus now.
I know, but you're like if you're saying forever, like there's some unbelievable net. That's what drives me nuts about the comparison. Like most talented Heisman ever is like that's. I mean, let's just say the last 20 years. Like let's just call it what it is because the game's different. I mean, Vince Young's year at Texas was insane, but Vince Young never won the Heisman, I guess. So
That shows you how good Reggie Bush's Heisman season was.
yeah, Reggie
Vince
Bush was insane.
insane that season, and Vince didn't win the Heisman.
Yeah, insane.
I do agree. I do still think that Vince Young should have won the Heisman that year.
I think most people probably think that.
Yeah.
Reggie Bush was a beast, though.
Reggie Bush was so good.
Reggie Bush was
I
different.
think you shouldn't award the Heisman until after the national title game because I think Reggie Bush's little fumble in the national title game would have lost him the Heisman to Vince Young.
Yeah, that's a tough thing though, because like depending
It's not
like
supposed to be based off the championship. It's supposed to be based off the regular season.
well, also just like how often does it actually happen where the two guys that are going for 1 and 2 in the Heisman are competing against each other in the national championship? Very rarely now.
Yeah,
Because
never.
back in the day, college football just used to be, did you have the quarterback? Then you're going to be good. But now it's definitely more team based, right? Stetson Bennett won 2 national championships, and I think we could all agree that he was not the best quarterback in college football. Good.
He did what he had to do.
He did what he had to do. But yeah, I don't know. It's just been there's some interesting football debates going on right now. And I love it. I hate both the Harbaugh brothers. But I love Jim's. Hey, I love football. I love other guys that love football. That's great.
I like he said I'll even hang out with guys that don't like football. They probably don't like me because I try to convince them to like football.
Yeah.
What a bizarre
world that. He's just all dark meat. Okay. And then that's it. Thanks.
Who's yelling at?
I muted you, Jonathan, because you were ordering at a drive-through window.
All dark meat.
Man. All right. There was a couple actual good games this weekend. I mean, they were good on paper, but Tennessee absolutely whooped OU. Tennessee's defense is scary.
Yeah, they could have won that game by 40 if they wanted to. It felt like they didn't want. Oklahoma offenses. Jackson Arnold is bad.
Jackson Arnold is bad. He got benched.
Now,
I don't even know what the name of their new guy is.
True freshman, apparently. Never heard of the dude. He didn't look like he walked out there and I was like, that dude doesn't look like he should be out there. But he was decent. Yeah, I think Tennessee could have won that game by about 40 if they really wanted to.
Their offense scares me a little bit, just a little bit. That if when they play the better teams, that they could struggle. I don't know, Nico. There were a couple things. He's a little bit too much of a wild card.
Yeah, he's definitely also isn't he? Is he a freshman?
I don't know, but he looks like he's gonna in the big games. He's gonna have some. He's gonna have some turnovers that are gonna cost Tennessee.
Yeah, he's like a typical young quarterback. Like he does some stuff where you're like, oh wow, that was awesome, and then he does some stuff that's like, What are you doing?
He's very early onset Josh Allen.
Oh, or Will Levis.
No, because Will
Well,
Levis isn't
Will Levis does
good.
good stuff. Will Levis doesn't do good stuff.
He's got I would say Nico, however you say his last name, has got a good like case of early onset Josh Allen disease.
Well, honestly, in college, I think you can get by. You can get by with some of that.
For sure, but I mean Tennessee has to play Bama and Georgia,
Yeah,
I believe.
they have a tough freaking schedule. Georgia and Tennessee both have pretty tough schedules.
Yes, they do. Which is, you know what? Good for them. They finally have to play not in the cupcakes of the SEC East. So welcome to the real
Like
SEC.
Georgia could legitimately lose 2 games, and it'd be like you lost to potentially the number 1 and number 2 team in the nation.
Yeah, they better not lose 2 games though, because we don't need another Georgia didn't make the playoffs
Well,
kind of
they'd
year.
make it. If they lost 2 games this year, they'll still make it.
That's true. If that's the only 2 games they lose.
Unless it's like, I don't even know if it's possible. If like 4 teams in the SEC have 2 losses, I guess, and then you're looking at like maybe 3 of those getting in. So I guess they could
Yeah, but
technically.
no,
miss.
if Georgia's 2 losses are to Bama and Texas, and they're like not blowouts, then
Oh,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
then
If they get blown out this week,
I'm just
that
saying
would
then
be
like Ole Miss with 2 losses, they would put Georgia in for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2 games they're in. Probably most. If you're an SEC team or a Big Ten team, although I think Big Ten is kind of trash. If you lose twice, you're probably in.
As of right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Only 5 of the top 10 teams are in the SEC. So
only 5.
only 5.
It's
And
funny that
then
our standard is like we should have more than 5 in the top 10.
so out of your top 10 right now, you've got 5 SEC. Big Ten has 3 teams in Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. About to only be 2 teams because Penn State's going to lose this weekend. And then 1 ACC, 1 Big 12. Right? Is Utah Big 10 or Big 12? Big 12?
12.
12.
Okay. So yeah, good for Utah.
Hey,
Out
Good
here
for
winning
good
games
for
without
Zach Wilson's little
Cam
brother.
yeah, they find a way to win without whoever the quarterback is.
Cam Rising, who's always injured.
Rising.
Cam Rising and Quinn Ewers got a little bit of the same injury bug every year.
Dude, Cam Rising's going to get another year of eligibility if he doesn't come back this year.
He was dressed out. He should be come back.
This guy is going to be like 28 playing quarterback at Utah for the
Hey,
80.
he's enjoying the soaking in the dorm room. That's why he keeps coming back. I don't know if the Utes do that as well, or if that's just a BYU thing, but
You know who I'm worried about not coming back?
no.
Connor.
I mean, I hope he doesn't come back. Why do we want him to come back?
I don't know. I just feel like he seems to be getting worse.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want him to come back. I want like next season. I want a different quarterback.
What y'all think about that game on Saturday?
I didn't get to watch it. I only saw the stats and the highlights.
I was gonna say
It was one of those.
I spent an hour and 15 minutes on the phone with Disney trying to log into ESPN Plus because we lost power that day and it logged out of my desktop. And so when I tried to log in, which you have to use your email address to log into ESPN Plus, it sends the verification email to an email that doesn't exist. And and so then I like, hey, I'm trying to do this 2-thing verification, and I'm arguing with my guy that is overseas, and I am usually very, very nice to anyone that works any kind of job like that. And yeah, I owe Sarah an apology because sometimes I'm like, you don't have to be so like stern with them. No, after about 30 minutes, I was angry. So
You're
I missed
over it.
I missed the whole first quarter, but I mean it wasn't a fun game to watch.
No,
It was
terrible
bad.
game to watch.
It's terrible.
By the end of it, I was legitimately getting pissed off because I was like, just let this game end, please.
Yes.
I didn't watch it obviously, but the offense looked horrible.
Okay, so here's what I think about the first half. Right, I think we scored on 3 out of 5 possessions. The 2 we didn't score on, we got the ball within the 5-yard line, which I have a bone to pick with the referees. If the ball bounces out of bounds, 3 yards out of bounds at the 5 or 6-yard line, you don't then put it on the 5-yard line. That's not how that works.
That's not how it works. Yeah.
We got the ball twice. The first drive looked great. Second and third drive, we got the ball both times within the 5-yard line because our defense can't stop anyone.
That's true.
And we scored, or we had short field goal kicks on the last 2.
Yeah, I mean it was fine. I think from what we've seen from Bowling Green this year, they do actually have a pretty good defense. They
Ridiculous too.
They played Penn State really close whenever they played Penn State in Happy Valley. They played us very close.
They should have beat Penn State.
They should have beat Penn State. They could have beat us, but they didn't.
But I will say it never felt like they were actually going to win.
No.
They kept keeping it in within striking distance.
Marcel Reed definitely didn't look as good, but he still looks more competent at this moment in time than Connor Wigman has looked. So I was fine with that as well.
He missed some throws that he probably should have made.
Yeah, I mean he has not really overly impressed me as a passer for sure.
No, but he definitely brings the second element of being able to run.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
I don't know. That game, I was literally like, this is just one of those. I will say this: if that's a Jimbo Fisher coach team, we lose that game.
Yeah. We ran the ball well.
Yeah.
I mean, we ran for 240 yards basically. So I like that. And I mean, that is, in my opinion, A&M's recipe for success, is long sustained drives, give your defense as much time as possible to rest, and give the defense less opportunities to screw up.
The only thing I did not appreciate was Colin Klein. Sometimes he gets in this mode where we think we have to run every down. And there was a couple times like it'd be 1st and 10, we run, no gain. Then it's 2nd and 10, we run for maybe a yard or 2. And then we're putting Marcel 3rd and long constantly. And it's like, dude, at some point, make this easy for him. When you don't gain anything on 1st down, let's just keep the ball in his hands because he will make something crazy happen potentially.
Yeah, I didn't like that our defense, that they clearly had one guy. They had one guy.
Yeah.
And we could not game plan around to stop said one guy. So when we play
170.
He had 150 yards on 8 catches. When we play teams that have more than one guy, that's going to be a real problem.
We also are still, this is A&M's problem for a long time. We are susceptible to give up a big play.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Well, when I was looking at the stats and keeping up with the score, it's like, obviously I had the gameplay on ESPN, so I was getting play-by-play. But it was like, man, it just felt like a Jimbo Fisher game where it's like we should be killing these guys, but
it seemed
letting people stay in the game.
I agree with that, but I will say if like after watching the game, sometimes you can look at the quarterback and be like, you gave up, or like you made so many bad plays that you just couldn't keep drives going. I don't know if Connor Wigman was in that game. I don't think he would have done anything different.
Yeah, I don't think
it was the quarterback at all, really.
I think it was definitely like
just a fluky game. It seemed
like. Well, or just like it's common, right? Like you come in your first game, you're just amped up, you play great. Second game, the team has film on you now to study and can figure out your weaknesses and game plan around. Like Andy Dalton this weekend, balls out in Carolina. Well, it was in Vegas, but balls out for Carolina. I would not be shocked if this week Andy Dalton looks terrible.
Yeah, I thought about betting against them big time.
So, but then it's against the Bengals, so it's just like a
Yeah,
tough.
but
So I
I agree.
think Marcel Reed kind of, they did get a whole game of footage on him. I still think he looked decent,
Yeah, he's fine. To me, he was fine. There's a lot of people freaking out about it, but I think he was fine.
but I don't know.
One of those. It's like you just had a big win on the road. I say big win. Florida's bad, but it's still an SEC road win. Then you come home and it's like, oh great, we got to play another no-namer
Yeah,
before we play Arkansas, which is going to be
yeah.
crazy.
I don't know what it is with the defense though. Is it like our defensive line looks good?
I think it's our linebackers.
It's got to be because our secondary also looks good. So like, it's just that our linebackers are terrible.
I think Edgerrin Cooper was really good.
Okay, Edgerrin Cooper was awesome.
Really good. Still is awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to make us fair against Arkansas, who
I,
can't throw a football. They can only
yeah,
run the ball.
yeah, made me a little nervous because I don't. I guess it's our linebackers. I don't really know, but it seems like it has to be because the defensive line is good. Now I will say our defensive line seems to be like they want to be pass rushers, and that's about
They want our defensive line kind of Dallas Cowboys esque, where they just
yeah,
want to pin their heads, their ears down, and just go.
yeah, which is fine sometimes, but every once in a while they're going to run the ball, and you got to be ready to stop it. But that's where our linebackers got to do something, and our linebackers haven't do nothing. Torian
And
York, like who was really good last year,
yeah,
maybe Edgerrin Cooper took some attention away from him, and he was able to do some things. I don't know.
but we're gonna need to figure it out over our next two games because Arkansas definitely is gonna try to run the ball, but I mean their offense looks. We should be able to beat Arkansas.
Should, but that game's always weird as can be.
It is always weird as can be. And then Missouri hasn't looked good as of late, but Missouri can also run the ball really, really well.
Yeah,
And they also have a superstar wide receiver, so we're gonna see if we can shut down a superstar.
yeah, we're gonna have to figure that one out.
But like, if we can get through Arkansas and Missouri, we'd be on a 5-game win streak. We would have the hype back around us that hey, the Notre Dame game was just a fluke week one. The thought of the playoffs comes back into play
Yeah,
because more than likely Missouri will be a top 10 team. They're currently 11, but if they win this weekend, then they would definitely. Oh, they're off.
Oh, they're off. Perfect.
Oh, great. So they get us after a bye week.
Yeah.
So I don't feel good. So really, if we can get through the Mizzou game with a win, that'd be huge.
Yeah, we're sitting pretty all of a sudden because rest of the schedule we don't play.
We get LSU,
who I don't think is a very good football team.
No, but
it is LSU.
So they are a bogey team for us.
They have athletes, but
yeah,
they I don't think they're a very good football team. And then it just comes down to Texas. But if somehow if you are 10-1 and going to that Texas game, even if you lose it, you're probably in the playoff.
I would think you're in.
I would think so too.
As long as you don't
don't
get boat raced by Texas though.
Yeah, you can't get boat raced, but I still think you're probably in. But we have to beat Mizzou. So
if the A&M Texas game, not if it was tomorrow. What do you predict the line will be? Opening line of Texas A&M versus Texas in Kyle Field.
6.5.
That's insane.
There's
no reason why that line shouldn't be 17.5.
I don't think it'll be that big.
Or at least 10.5. I mean, it shouldn't. 17.5 is big, but that's what the line probably should be.
They are 38.5 favorites against Mississippi State.
Yeah.
That makes sense, though.
And actually, I want to take Texas.
Yeah, I probably would too.
If I was gambling, I would take Texas.
That Mississippi State team's terrible, but I do think it would be probably 6.5.
That's crazy.
I think it would be. I think the one thing that helps A&M is in that game is we can because all of a sudden we can somewhat run the ball. You can kind of muck it up and make it ugly.
Yeah, but we don't know if we can run against Texas.
Well, you can slow it down.
Texas has
slowed the game down.
Have they? They've gotten run on this year.
I mean, not like. I mean, Their defense looked pretty freaking good.
They did lose. I feel like you losing 2 dudes to the NFL off your defensive line, that was a pretty big deal. But I don't know. You just got to muck it up.
Yeah.
I don't like that strategy either.
Mucking it up.
Well, think about it. Like Michigan does that really well, and Michigan just got demolished by them.
Yeah, but Michigan has no ability. They literally cannot throw a forward pass.
Yeah. How ESPN? You go to team stats for a team. I'm looking for Texas.
Can we?
They don't have defensive stats. They only have offensive stats. They have kicking return stats and kicking stats, but they don't have defensive stats. What are we doing here?
Let's see if teamrankings.com is going there.
That's awful. ESPN is the worst run sports website and app in the universe.
Because they don't have to do anything. They don't make money either way.
They got that
Saw
Disney
y'all.
money for sure.
They got pretty good. They're giving up 100 rush yards a game.
That's not bad in college football. Only giving up.
That's what I'm saying. It's not bad. But
The other problem though is that no
They
one
play-
is ever close enough to run the ball against them. Like,
Yeah.
they're always down by 40.
ULM.
You got to throw.
Look at the score. It was 28-0 in the first 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, if you get down to Texas, you're in trouble.
It's always hard to tell at the beginning of the season too. I know they played Michigan, but the other 3 teams, I mean, they're
Oh, for sure. But it is still hard to, even against bad teams, it's hard to like pitch a shutout, don't give up a touchdown ever. And they've done that
twice.
2 or 3 times now. They definitely gave up 0 points in their first game. They only gave up 3 points one game. I do think they gave up a touchdown last week. So I mean, they're a good team.
Oh, for sure.
I don't really want to talk about Texas too much because they didn't do anything fun this weekend. Neither did Georgia. Neither did Ohio State. Let's talk about the other fun games that were out and about though. We kind of discussed them already, but Missouri almost lost again at home to a bad team.
Should have lost.
I'm a little concerned actually about Mizzou.
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. They're going into our game undefeated. I like it.
I mean, yes, I hope that we also can go and win our next couple games, but I'm not concerned about playing them. But as a person who really wants the best teams to make the college football playoff, I don't know if they're in.
No, the quarterback is not as good as maybe.
And I mean he's experienced quarterback.
He was good last year, I feel like.
Yeah. So I want the best teams. I don't care what conference they're in. I personally believe that most of the best teams are in the SEC. And Mizzou's supposed to be so highly ranked, but they just keep dropping. I think they started the year at number 6 and they're undefeated, and now they're not in the top 10.
They should. I mean, if Vanderbilt had a field goal kicker, they would have.
Yeah.
Mizzou also missed what 2 kicks? 3.
I do think that Boston College last weekend. I think Boston College is a good team. They're not a playoff team, but they're a good team. So I wasn't surprised that Mizzou struggled against them. Vandy is not a good team.
But Vandy has that same quarterback that just is. It makes no sense, but he's absolutely insane.
I get that, but Missouri's offense struggled again.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
I get why Missouri offense struggled against Boston College. Boston College has a great defense, but there's no reason why they should have struggled against Vandy's defense.
Vandy's the sleeper. They're on the up and up, brother.
Well, you said
that quarterback is, dude. He's like I don't even know how to describe him. It's just it doesn't look like football. He's just running, and he can't be taken down.
Can't be taken down.
But it's kind of fun.
They're on the up and up, but they also lost to Georgia State. So it's like, are they
blown out to Georgia State, didn't they?
No, what it is about Vandy came into the season. They're like, we may not be the worst team in the conference. And then they watched Mississippi State play the first week and they said, we're not the worst team in the conference.
is true.
This gives us hope.
Well,
And
the
so
other
now
problem,
they're playing with confidence.
the problem is they beat NC State the first week, right? And NC State was ranked. NC State is
No, they beat Virginia Tech the first
Virginia
week.
Tech.
But
Virginia Tech is horrible.
Virginia Tech was the team that everyone was like, they're gonna win the ACC,
ACC, and they're terrible.
and they're bad.
To be fair, Blake was semi-right. NC State sucks too.
They're
That is
terrible.
also true.
People were picking them too, and they are god awful.
Virginia
I
Tech
picked-
was supposed to have the good quarterback, and he's not good.
At noon window on Saturday, I was like, okay, cool. I'll watch Clemson NC State. I'm not kidding you. I flipped that game on, and it was over the first 2 minutes of the game.
Oh yeah,
Dude, they demolished them. They crushed them.
They scored a touchdown, immediate fumble, touchdown 2 seconds later. Klubnik didn't even have to do anything. I mean, it just
yeah. I mean,
That's
and Virginia Tech's reward this week is they get to play Miami.
boat racing.
Yeah, Friday night. I'm glad that they put that on Friday night, so I don't have to worry about watching it. Like, if I'm not doing anything, I'll put it on, but it's
But you
not
have
like,
a high school game to go to.
nah, it's away this week, and I'm not driving all the way to Vandergrift to watch us lose by 70. I will say this, Vista Ridge homecoming week this past weekend, down 16 in the fourth quarter, come back to win. It was insane. Not ideal. Not ideal that we almost lost the homecoming game, but we did win. So it was a crazy comeback that
They never won a single game, so
I was not there. So I am officially Vista Ridge's curse. I was there. I started to feel sick from the COVID. So I went home. It was the fourth quarter. We're down 16. I'm like, there's no way we're going to win. By the time I get home, everyone's texting me like we came back and won. So I am Vista Ridge's bad luck charm. But I also hate to break it to you, Vista. I'm going to keep going to the football games if I can because they're fun. Cool. Let's see. Was there anything else worth talking about this past weekend? I don't know.
a lot of bad football games this
A
weekend.
lot of bad football games.
lot of bad.
What's wrong with Ollie Gordon?
He's
Yeah.
terrible.
I mean, he's not terrible. He was very good, but why is he terrible this year? That's
He's really bad this year.
I know, but why? Is it just because he got too big for his britches? Like, what happened?
I think he had a little too much fun this summer.
If anything, the Big 12 is worse this year than they were last year. He should be putting up insane numbers.
What, didn't he have like 30 yards rushing this weekend?
It was
Yeah.
bad.
He's averaging only like 37, 38 yards a game. It's really bad.
Yeah, he's not going to win the Heisman Trophy.
No.
No, my future bet on that was jump the gun on that one.
Yeah, wasted a little bit of cash there, but that's all right.
Yeah.
3
Other,
yards on the year.
other players that were disappointing, Mini Mahomes. Can't be losing. Can't be losing at home.
The way it happened too, man, I can't stand looking at him play football though. He looks like even his pad setup is Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, it's bad.
Everything is Pat Mahomes. Can we talk about another disappointing player real quick? Evan Stewart.
Oh,
That dude, he thought he was going to go to Oregon and do something crazy. I think he has like 4 catches on the year.
don't worry, he'll transfer again.
I mean, 4 catches. Come on, man.
Who were we talking about this weekend that was going to transfer? I feel like we had that in our group text. Some guy, Shane texted us about some guy. Oh, the Notre Dame guy announced.
Oh, that is insane. In the middle
Jaden
of-
Mickey, who's just going to, because Notre Dame, he doesn't see them making the playoffs. He's not going to play again, so he can transfer.
keep
What?
his year of ability.
Yeah, he's keeping an extra year of eligibility, and he's not gonna play anymore.
In the
He's
middle of the
decided-
year, crazy.
So he's withdrawing himself at week 4.
he decided to redshirt himself.
You can do that?
You get
At
4
four-
games.
Get 4 games.
Dude, that's going to become a trend. I don't know if players knew they could do that. Just
They
pull
definitely do.
yourself out.
That changed several years ago, which is why you were seeing true freshmen play more because they could pop in there for 4
Yeah.
games.
4
Yeah.
games.
Now,
So, like, technically, Also, I only thought that you could redshirt if you were a freshman.
No, you can redshirt any year.
You're redshirt any year.
Yeah,
I think
so
that also changed whenever they did that.
right, so Quinn Ewers could technically redshirt this year.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, he could medical redshirt for sure.
Yeah. Well,
If
I'm just
he-
saying he could come back in the playoffs and still redshirt.
Wait, did he redshirt his year at Ohio State though?
Yeah, I think he did redshirt.
yes, you did.
But if he medically redshirts, is that different?
Yeah, it's different. That dude at Miami's played 9 seasons.
Yeah.
He's had like 3 or 4 medical red shirts and COVID year and freshman year red shirt.
He's a 5-time redshirt senior.
Yeah, I think he was a part of the 2016 recruiting class.
Yeah.
Um,
Guy's got a doctorate by now.
Yeah, who's the rookie quarterback this year that's older than Joe Burrow that everyone's talking about?
Yeah, I saw it yesterday.
Hold on. For our audio listeners, Jonathan is choking.
I think Penix is older than Joe Burrow.
That's it.
There's a starting quarterback that's older than him too.
Yeah, there's a starting quarterback that. I mean, it's not Caleb. It's not Will Levis.
Is it Jaden? Is it Daniel?
Jaden's not that old. Malik Willis?
No, probably.
No, or did Malik Willis come out early?
It was Malik Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, he was.
It was Malik Willis.
Yeah, it's like something like that where it's just like, hey, give him time. Like he's actually like not that old. Or he's
like 25. Joe Burrow is 20. No, he's 27.
I don't remember who it was, but like
I've heard that same stat too.
It's just crazy these quarterbacks that stay in for forever. All right, let's talk about this upcoming week of football. Unless there's any other games that stuck out to or players that stuck out to you from this year. Evan Stewart, if you want to come back to A&M during the season, we will gladly take you back though.
More than welcome.
That's the next step in the transfer portal.
It's already happened.
No. I won't take him back next. I will not take him back next season. You're a snake.
Proctor's done it twice, and he's back at Alabama.
No, I'm saying the next step in the transfer portal is transferring mid-year.
Season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't. No, not allowed.
It's gonna happen.
All right, we got Bama, Georgia this week. Awesome. Is it a night game? 6:30.
Trump's gonna be there.
7:30.
Trump.
6:30.
Trump's gonna be there.
Yeah. So I was talking to this dude, a guy that I fit with his leg. He played at Alabama, and I was like, "Oh, like, are you gonna go to the game?" And he was like, he looked at me crazy. He's like, "Can you believe Trump's gonna be there? I will not be caught dead anywhere near that place."
I mean, that's smart. That's smart. There could be a shooting or something. Like, yeah, get out of there.
But he was saying like he was trying to get tickets for his brother because he's got connections, and he was like, "I've like tried everything I can, and normally I can get tickets, but for this game, no chance. It's gonna be humongous."
Oh yeah. I don't like. I don't
So
like.
do you think?
Go ahead.
Oh, go. Do you think when Trump decides he's going to one of these games, do you think someone reaches out and says, "Hey, will you come to this game?" Or do you think his people call?
Yeah.
The football people and say, "Hey, he wants to come."
I bet they're saying he's coming to the game. Just have a ticket for him, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, good luck, Secret Service, on protection in this atmosphere. Like,
dude,
well,
that'd be a nightmare.
The good thing is football fans tend to run a certain way.
Yes, but still,
and for him the whole game.
Yeah. I don't like how did we schedule the 2 good games this weekend at the same time? Hey, what are we doing?
There's 3 good games in there, like all at 7:30. I mean, I got 2 TVs, but I like to have my games spread out a little bit.
I mean, I don't know what other game you're talking about. The other game I'm talking about, Illinois Penn State, will be a good game, but
yeah, I guess there's not. I thought there was another one.
Thankfully, A&M Arkansas, not at 6:30.
Yeah, we can get. I was thanking the Lord when that got announced. Let's get that one over with too.
What time's that game?
2:30.
or 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30 Central.
The line is creeping upward as well.
There are some very interesting rat lines in the world of gambling. And that's a perfect transition into our gambling segment here as we wrap up. Look at us. We're like right at an hour. Good job, everybody. But
Is UGA -2 a rat line?
I'm on some rat lines in both college and professional football. They just don't make any sense to me. The one that's just really got my goat. How is Baylor 3-point favorites against BYU? I don't get it. What am I missing?
It's a home game, maybe. I don't know.
BYU's undefeated and looks great. Also, Baylor has got to be so defeated after their loss last week to Colorado. Like the mental part of it is huge too.
The Auburn line, though. OU is 2.5-point favorites.
Yeah, Georgia being 2-point dogs or 2-point favorites, Alabama being 2-point dogs at home. I don't know, man. I think Alabama's gonna be able to score. I don't know if Georgia can score.
That's what I kind of think too. Is I think it's going to be like Alabama's going to score. They may not stop them.
Penn State being almost 19-point favorites against Illinois.
That one makes no
sense. Do we really think Illinois is that bad? I think Illinois kind of look good.
I think Illinois looks good. Their defense is solid.
The quarterback's kind of a question mark, but they look okay. Penn State that great.
Texas only 38.5-point favorites over Mississippi State. That number should be 70.
That has to be the largest like conference SEC line that's ever
happened in a while.
I mean, 40 points is ridiculous in a conference game.
I think UCF being 14.5 points against Colorado. I don't know. That's a lot of points. I don't know if UCF's that good. I haven't seen them though.
They played last week. They were getting, or was it last week or the week before? They were getting beat bad, and they came back at the very end and won the game.
Okay. I mean, and then like USC plays Wisconsin. Wisconsin is basically just Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah. If any team can rush the ball for 22 yards and win a game, it would probably be Wisconsin.
And USC is 16-point favorites. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird lines.
And then in the NFL, it's just the NFL is nutty. Yeah, it's just like, how is Chicago? How are the Bears 3-point favorites?
Yeah, that was the one that stuck out.
How are the Bears 3-point favorites?
It makes me want to put money on them because there's no reason they should be 3-point favorites.
Yeah. How are the Browns favorites against the Raiders?
After this week.
How are the Ravens favored against the Bills?
I actually have the Raiders favored by 1 now.
Okay. It opened as Cleveland -1, so it's basically just a pick 'em, but yeah. I don't know. Cleveland's offensive line is terrible. I'm hoping that the Raiders' defensive line can.
I'm taking Cleveland.
We said that about the Panthers too.
I took the Raiders are in my money line parlay. My underdog, dude, the underdogs in the NFL, the dogs are barking.
Yeah, they are.
They are barking loudly.
The outright or the biggest underdog of the week is one that outright the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, every single spread so far in the NFL that's been 6.5 or larger, the underdog has won, and they're like 8-2 straight up. It's nuts. This NFL season has been ugly to watch, but for gambling purposes, it's been exciting.
At the underdogs.
I don't know. Be careful with your gambling out there, people. We did all right gambling this week. Not really, but it wasn't great. But this week, you know what they say. If you're not hot, you're due. And as a podcast, we're still due. So we got to figure it out, okay? Before November 2nd, we got to have it figured out. Because Shreveport, Louisiana, we're coming for all your money.
Because we're going on the road.
We're going on the road. The Airbnb is booked. I gotta see if the sports book actually got back to me on.
We're gonna take down the casino.
We'll have to decide what sports book we actually want to go to because I don't actually know how nice.
Oh, did you reach out to a sports book?
I tried to contact the
Try to get a table?
FanDuel one and looked at like some of the images and stuff. Yeah, I just want to know like, hey, can I reserve a table? And then just the FanDuel one's actually pretty small.
Hmm.
But I don't know compared. I don't know how big. Obviously, the ones I've seen are like the giant ones in Vegas. Obviously, it's going to be smaller than those. But I do like that. Like the FanDuel one just has little kiosks that are set up just like the app on your phone. So like that's nice that I don't have to talk to anyone and I can just go spend some time. You can really easily like if you want to do alternate spreads and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah. So
concerned with like what time do I got to get there to make sure that I have a table
right.
kind of stuff.
Right.
Are there
Right.
are there betting limits? Because I don't want to be there and like them say you have to spend at least, you have to bet like
$1,000.
yeah, I can't afford that kind of stuff. But so there's that one and then there's a Bally's right next door. So I'm gonna contact them too. Whichever one lets me reserve a table is definitely the one that I'm picking.
We don't have no bar stool at Shreveport.
I'll have to look. I haven't looked into all of them, but I mean, surely we can get a spot for 3 of us.
The Bally's one has like theater seating.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
That's
the
what we
Bally's
need.
one is definitely nicer. The FanDuel one just looks like you're gonna just be sitting at like a
Bar top.
a bar top. I also need the TV situation to be good. That's the other thing. Like I need to be able to watch the good games because the weekend that we are going of November 2nd and 3rd, the football games in both the NFL and college football are going to be bangers. It's going to be great.
Bumped.
All right, let's wrap it up. Let's talk about
One.
our picks for this week. Currently, Blake and Jonathan are tied for first place with a record of 5 and 7. So we're crushing it. And
Rough.
Shane and I are basically tied in second at 4 and 8. So not bad. We're all close so far. I've already mentioned some of the rat lines that I am on. I'm on BYU plus 3.5. I'm on the Raiders. Well, I'll change it to the Raiders minus 1.5. I booked these lines yesterday, but I'll change it to minus 1.5 because I think that they'll win that too. I'm also on the Steelers minus 1.5. I don't get how they're not favored by more points as well. I know it's on the road, but I think that their defense is just going to continue to demolish these bad quarterbacks that they play. So I'll take the Steelers as well.
all right. I'm on Cleveland +1 because Antonio Pierce, he just killed his team. Detroit minus 3.5. I believe in Dan Campbell. Alabama +2. And I hate that one.
Hey, we all have to make business decisions, Blake.
Yep.
He's gonna be he didn't cut anybody though.
Yeah, who is he talking? I want to know. Name some names, Antonio Pierce.
There's a play where, I mean, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow.
Bro.
Tomorrow's episode.
Yeah.
Way to tease tomorrow's episode. Good job.
I'm going to go ahead and take the Rutgers Scarlet Knights minus 2.5 against Washington Huskies.
I like that pick as well.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
Yep.
Is that one in Secaucus or wherever Rutgers is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in Joyzy.
And Rutgers is still undefeated. Let's go, boys. The mob has officially bought that team and they're winning games. I will also take BYU Cougars plus 3.5 because I actually think they may win the Big 12.
Possible.
Yeah, they look pretty good. And then I'm going to do what everyone hates that I do, and I'm going to take the Texas A&M Aggies minus 4 over those fat fuck Razorbacks.
I actually kind of like that one.
I actually do
I
too.
like it.
I'm
I
not.
like it.
I don't bet with my heart, but
Yeah, I'm not worried. Yeah, I almost took the Chiefs for
Wait.
this week, but I was like, I can't do it
No.
because the one time I picked the Chiefs to cover the spread against the Chargers, um, they're gonna lose, and I can't have them lose. If the Chiefs lose to the Chargers, I'm gonna be in a bad spot. But I'm not gonna stick anything in my butt or eat any dog poop because I am not that dedicated of a fan.
I saw
Uh,
I saw people tweet today like if my team loses, I'm gonna
Well, I
do
like the if my team lose, it was something dumb like if my team loses to like Ole Miss or whatever, I'm gonna eat a 24-ounce ribeye medium rare with a baked potato and a nice red wine. And
I
I'm
like
like,
that.
that's a good one. All right, and y'all don't need to know Shane's picks, but Shane's got 3 bangers, I'm sure. Um, he might be on tomorrow's episode, but we don't know. Probably not. That's gonna do it for us on this episode, though. Thank y'all for tuning in. We appreciate it. Our numbers are actually doing pretty good.
Nice.
So we appreciate all the support. Like, subscribe, send to your friends. We got our last video got 50 views.
Damn.
So
There we go.
and 3 comments that I forgot to check and respond. I don't know who these people are, but someone threw up gang signs. Way to go, us.
That's got to be one of your students.
No way. My students don't know about the podcast from this year.
This
But
year they don't know yet.
yeah, my new batch. It's too early in the year to reveal the podcast. Um, but yeah, we appreciate it. Tune in tomorrow for our NFL episode. It's going to be a banger as well. Because it's probably going to be very short because the NFL games were terrible. So we're probably not going to have too much to say. But pretty much everything we're going to say is going to be negative and hilarious. So we'll see you all then. Have a good one.